Hello everyone. Welcome to my first video of the series of educational videos that I have made for you. Today, we will learn about the various means of the separation of components of a mixture. First of all, we will learn about the process of threshing. When the grain gets harvested, there are many unwanted parts such as stalks, husk, etc. which cannot be digested by humans. So, we need to separate the edible part from the rest. There are many ways of separating grain seeds from unwanted parts. The first step, after harvesting, is called threshing. Threshing is the process of loosening the edible part of the grain from the straw to which it is attached. Then, the farmer uses another process called winnowing. We will come to it soon. For now, let's stick to threshing. You can separate the grain seeds from the stalks using this process. How does it work? It is very easy. The stalks are beaten or trampled by cattle. This is how the grain seeds and stalks are separated. However, this process does not remove the bran from the grain. Let's talk about winnowing. It is the second process of a grain's life after threshing. The process of separating heavier and lighter components of a mixture by wind or by blowing air is called winnowing. It is mostly used to separate grain from the chaff or for removing pests from grain. Now, you may ask, how can wind separate grains from the chaff? Well, we already know that winnowing is used to separate heavier and lighter components of a mixture. Grains are heavier than the husk, so the farmers use winnowing to separate them. Let's learn about it in detail. First of all, the farmer will put the mixture in a flat pan. Then on a windy day, the farmer will stand on a high enough platform and allow the mixture to fall slowly with the help of a gentle pat. As you know that the grain is heavier than the husk will fall wherever the wind will carry it. The grain as it is heavier will fall near the farmer. Thus, two separate heaps are formed. One of them is the husk and the other is the grain. Filtration. You all know what it is, but let's take a look. The process of separating insoluble solid particles from a mixture of its liquid components by allowing the mixture to go through a filtering material, such as filter paper, is called filtration. Filter paper allows fluid to pass through it but prevents the solids to pass through it. How does it work? The filter paper has very small holes that prevent solids to pass through but allows fluid to pass through. The liquid which went through filtration is called the filtrate, and the solids which were not able to pass through are called the residue. Sedimentation and decantation is next. The method that separates insoluble solids from its mixture without disturbing it such that the unwanted solids settle down to the bottom of the container is known as sedimentation. The unwanted solids that settle down to the bottom of the container is called a sediment, and the clear liquid above it is called a supernatant liquid. The process of pouring off as much liquid possible without disturbing the sediment is called decantation. Distillation is the process of separation of a liquid from a soluble impurity by the evaporation of the solution and recondensation of the vapors in another container. The pure result is called the distillate. If you are confused, let me explain this process step by step. First, the solution in the distillation flask is heated, so that the liquid quickly evaporates. Then, the vapor will go towards the condenser, or the middle part of the apparatus. Thanks to the cool water jacket, the vapor condenses and travels towards the other container. I bet you are familiar with the concept of evaporation. If you don't, then I'll explain it to you. The process where liquid changes into its gaseous state on heating, making sure that the liquid doesn't boil, is called evaporation. Here is an example. If you have a salt solution and want to get the salt back, you have to pour it in a vessel and start heating it. After some time, you can see water vapor rising. When all the water has evaporated, it leaves the salt behind. You know that magnetic substances such as iron get attracted towards a pole of a magnet. That way, we can separate magnetic objects from a mixture of it and a non-magnetic substance, such as sand. We can separate iron fillings from the mixture of it and sand by rolling a magnet over it. That way, we can separate magnetic substances from non-magnetic substance. Centrifugation is the method of separating particles in a liquid by rotating the liquid at an extremely high speed. Centrifugation is a mechanical process that involves the use of centrifugal force to separate particles from a solution according to their size, shape, density, etc. The denser components of the mixture migrate away from the axis of the centrifuge while the less denser components migrate towards the axis. You can see a laboratory centrifuge. This method is used when the mixture consists of a solid that sublimes on heating. For example, camphor. We will perform an experiment to see how does sublimation work. First of all, we will take a china dish and put a mixture of common salt and ammonium chloride. Make sure that the apparatus is put on a tripod stand with a wire gauze on top of it. We will put an inverted funnel in such a way that the mixture is inside the inverted funnel. Make sure to block the top with a cotton wool plug. We will heat it in a low Bunsen flame. After some time, you can see fumes rising. The fumes are ammonium chloride. You can then see that the ammonium chloride is settling down at the sides of the funnel. Remove the funnel and scrape out the ammonium chloride. Repeat this process a few times and then ammonium chloride is completely separated from the mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. In this video, you have learnt a few ways of separation such as threshing, winnowing, filtration, sedimentation and decantation, distillation, magnetic separation, etc. Here are a few points you must remember. Threshing and winnowing are mostly used by farmers. Filtration cannot filter salt solution, etc. Distilled water tastes different than the water you taste as there are salts such as magnesium, iron, etc. which are left behind during evaporation. There is an advanced version of distillation, known as continuous water still. Centrifugation is used mainly to separate the components of blood, such as plasma, WBCs and RBCs. Threshing was a time-consuming method. It can take even an hour. Later, a threshing machine was invented. Sieving is similar to filtering. Sometimes, farmers use sieves to separate husk from the grain. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so you can expect a lot of errors. Bye for now.